All right, welcome back to the Sooner Surge and another edition of the Sooner Surge at 6. Make sure and hit the subscribe button so you can be up to date on the latest content. As I'm sure you saw the video earlier, breaking news with Jordy Ball. That's kind of the topic of tonight's Sooner Surge at 6 is just the portal news from today. It's been a wild day for the transfer portal. Obviously, we'll start with Jordy Ball. We talked about it in our video when we found out last night, but guys, just some thoughts about that. I've heard going back home.
Yeah, like you said, found out last night, and it's a bit surprising to an extent, but this is not something that was just a decision that you just happened to make this past couple of days. It's kind of been in the works for a while, from what I understand. But yeah, it was a bit surprising, but at the same time, it does make sense. People got to be happy, and being close to family, if that's what makes you happy, then by all means, does it make a lot of sense for her to go back home and be by the people that, she wants to be around.
Do you think it has – do you think there's a thought at all of what else can I do at Oklahoma? I've won 2 championships. Really, she wants to go back to Nebraska and bring them to kind of promised land and just bring them maybe back to the series. I don't know, but that seems like what she wants to do is her home state, just to kind of help the softball world there.
Yeah, I don't know how much that goes into it, but I think what more can she do at Oklahoma? Like, genuinely, like, maybe.
Well, she could win 4 straight.
She could win 4 straight, yes, but at the same time, is it worth all the mental taxing it puts on her to go out there and, she has to be the ace. Like, I think she talked about it in the note, and she said it in interviews, like, it was just a lot. And they've said it all in interviews that this season was very stressful. So I think going back home is going to let her kind of, be a little bit more free in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the latter of what you mentioned, that she's just got an opportunity to put the entire state of Nebraska on her back and lead them to some place they've never been. So I think that's, the sole reason of doing that, and being with, closer to family and relationships, like we said. And she's not the only one who entered the portal from the softball program. Sophia Nugent also announced a decision today to leave. I don't know what you guys' thoughts on that are, but I know that. And then we had some football portal news as Derek LeBlanc has now entered the portal. So
I'll just say something about Nugent. I was kind of surprised by it, honestly, but I don't know her backstory of what she's wanting to do. I just think she's going to pursue other options, and we don't know everything as far as maybe who OU's pursuing in the portal, because Patty's going to get a lot of people probably that she wants to get in the portal. She usually does. So I think maybe it's just an opportunity of playing time. Who knows? But the other big one, obviously Derek LeBlanc. I mean, this guy came in as one of Bates' highest recruits, right, last year?
He was a 4-star recruit.
But was he Bates' highest recruit last year?
But he signed last year. But here's the thing. Derek LeBlanc, and this to me, I've seen in my replies on Twitter, it's all the messing with Smitty in the summertime stuff, which that very well might be true. But when you look at the Sooners' defensive line room, I think LeBlanc kind of saw the writing on the wall of there's a lot of guys that are going to play over him this year, including while LeBlanc might have been the highest rated signee in the 24 or the 23 class, he wasn't playing like the best 23 signee. I mean, we've heard Ashton Sanders was a dude, and that's no knock against LeBlanc. It's that Ashton Sanders had a really good spring and has continued that. So then you look at guys like Grayson Halton. Grayson Halton is primed for a breakout year. You've got all your older guys. So this year, LeBlanc more than likely would have redshirted. Then next year, you bring in, everyone knows they're really good spot with David Stone. So, do you kind of see, when am I going to play at Oklahoma? And I don't think that's all of it. I think a lot of it has to do with maybe Schmitty did get him one. That might be one of the things. I mean, it's very unexpected, but it was interesting.
But do you think this has anything to do with, I mean, to me, it's kind of surprising that a freshman would think they're going to play a lot as a freshman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was an early enrollee, but still to play as a freshman is tough to do.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that went into his decision. I don't. That's just only pure speculation because when you look at that room and where it's at, I think you can point at 10 guys and say that guy has a really good shot to play a good amount at Oklahoma. That's 10 guys. Yeah, most of them are unproven, but I don't know. I don't know how much that went into it.
How big were the two that transferred in, though? How big did those two come into it?
Quite. I mean, Terry's going to play a lot.
Terry and Pia or
Paya.
Paya, those two, do you think those really had an effect maybe on his decision? What year is Terry?
Terry, I believe he has 2 years. Maybe.
What about Paya?
Paya, I believe he also has 2. So they're going to be there, and they're both 300-plus defensive line, like 300-plus.
Yeah.
And then you've got Grayson Halton, who has –
he's been great.
That guy's he's been tearing it up this offseason so far. So to me, that's the biggest thing. And then looking at it at a future outlook, they're bringing in Marcus Strong, who he's already on campus. That's a guy on the defensive line that also as a freshman, he's got a long ways to go, but they really like what he has. So it does suck to lose your top-rated defensive lineman. And to me, it doesn't all make sense right now. Not much of it makes sense. You can make an argument with Schmitty, but this was a guy who, during his recruitment, he was all Oklahoma. He was one of those guys where even when Oklahoma was struggling, getting blown out by TCU, getting blown out by Texas, Derek LeBlanc never wavered at all. Him and his father were two of the ones that were more so, we're staying OU, nothing's changing. So that part just makes it all very – I honestly don't know what the reason for him to leave, especially at the time that he left was.
And it's very shocking the way it had, just all of a sudden today out of the blue.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. If it's like Jordy Ball, I know a lot of people bash people that transfer, but I'm all for people that want to be happy. If he's wanting to go somewhere to be happier, same with Jordy Ball. Hey, going to your home state to be happy. I'm not going to bash any kid for that.
To me, with LeBlanc, the part that makes it think maybe Schmitty might have got him one essentially is because of the time that LeBlanc entered the portal. He didn't enter when most people, when Jaden Davis entered the portal. That's when a lot of guys, once that window opened up, he entered it on June 12th. That is not – you don't see many portal additions on June 12th. So that part just makes it very interesting.
But like you said, all of it's speculation as far as why. And so we can't tell you exactly why he's leaving. That's up to him to say maybe in his when he sends something out. I haven't seen an actual statement from him.
I don't know how much you'll get in the statement, but –
What's that?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he says in the statement. I don't know if
it will be.
Really say too much, but that certainly was a bit weird just at a random time too. But the LeBlanc thing, I'm pretty sure we'll start to find out more later this evening. And then on our YouTube live tonight, we will be able to provide you with some more info.
Yeah, please, guys, subscribe. Like I said, you want to subscribe so you're up to date on everything we're putting out. We're putting out daily content. Tonight, the YouTube live is going to be a big one. A lot of stuff going on recruiting-wise, a lot of stuff going on portal-wise. And, of course, Jordy Ball. There's just a ton to talk about. And as listeners, we love your comments and would love to have you comment on the YouTube lives and love to talk to you and build that community with you. So please subscribe, hit that button. Join us tonight. We will be sending out the time later this evening, but probably around 9-ish, maybe a little early, maybe a little bit later, but just be open for that time and just looking forward to joining us.
Yeah, if you haven't, make sure you also turn on the notification bell so that you can know exactly when we go live tonight and exactly when our videos upload. And then be checking the community tab because as soon as we figure out what time we're going to go live, we're going to put it in the community tab and that will pop up in your subscription feed, which is another reason for you to go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to the Sooner Surge.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll talk to everybody tonight. Boomer.